Welcome to the Automotivation Seminar. What we're going to do this weekend is we're going to talk about ways of marketing your business better to the public, ways of selling your services the best you can. In today's world, what we really need to do out there is to get a good price for our work in spite of whatever the competition might be doing. And this course is designed to teach you how to deal with customers in all different types of situations to allow you to get the best possible price for your work and at the same time to keep your customer. You know, it wouldn't be any good to go out there and get all kinds of money for a job one time and not have the customer ever come back to you or send anybody to you. That's a real waste. What we want to do is build up a clientele, a following for you. We know that it's much easier to sell to a customer who comes in on a recommendation than a stranger. Strangers call you from the yellow pages, and when they call, what's the first thing they ask you? How much? How much? How much? First thing out of their mouth is how much. We know that if we give them a price, when they ask, what's the next thing that they're most likely to do?
Hang up.
Going to hang up on you. Anybody know why they do that, by the way?
Shopping around. They don't know what else to ask.
You haven't told them what they wanted to hear.
You haven't told them what they wanted to hear. They're shopping around. They don't know what else to ask, so they ask for the price. But if you give them the price, you gave them what they asked for. They said, how much? You answered their question. Pretty rude of them to hang up, isn't it? So why did they do this?
They're done with you.
They're done with you because...
You told them what they wanted to know. Or what they didn't want to know.
What they thought they wanted to know.
They thought they wanted to know.
But was it really what they wanted to know? See, if that was the whole criteria, then they wouldn't hang up on you. There's more to it than that. And that's why people who sit there on the phone all day quoting prices and having people hang up on them in this business usually aren't making any money. Because, let me ask you this, can you quote a high price on the phone?
No.
If you did that, you'd scare them away, you know that. So if you were going to quote one, what would you quote? Something lower than what you really want. Now, if you do that, and the people do show up, you got two choices now. You either have to sell it at that low price, or what's the other one?
Makes the job harder to sell.
Sure, it makes it harder to sell. You'd have to try to upsell off of that price. And you know, when you try to upsell, right away they think, oh, he was trying to cheat me. He was never going to sell it to me at that price, right? So the whole idea of a stranger calling you to ask you for this price is really kind of counterproductive. Now, we know that we're going to have strangers calling us. We know we have to advertise. We know we have to be in the yellow pages. We know that people are going to call off of that type of thing. What we want to try to do, though, is cultivate enough referral business that we don't have to handle a lot of that we don't have to mess with a lot of that. We want people coming in saying, my friend Joe told me this is the only place in town to get my car fixed. That's why I'm here. Do we have any trouble selling to somebody like that?
No.
Is price an issue? Usually not, because they're there for the service. They've been told this is the place to go, so this is where they want to be. That's what we're trying to cultivate. So what I'm going to teach you to do this weekend is what I call the soft sell, not a hard sell. I don't want you pushing it down the customer's throat. That doesn't create repeat business. It doesn't bring you customers that are going to last. If you soft sell, if you make the customer feel good about what he has to buy, then he'll come back to you and he'll send his friends. And that's what you're really looking for. I want you to notice the monitor here. What we're going to do, you all have your workbooks. You'll notice in the workbook, if you turn to page 5, you'll see that what we have here is a fill in the blanks type of a workbook. I developed this workbook about 8 or 9 years ago because of the fact that I noticed people had a lot of trouble taking notes at seminars. Either they try to take a lot of notes, in which case they weren't really listening to the speaker, or they're trying to listen to the speaker, in which case they walk away with not very many notes. By filling in the blanks, you'll get a full set of notes. When you leave here tomorrow, one thing is for sure, you will have every handle for every customer objection you ever heard in that book. So I would hope that you follow along with me, fill in the blanks, and take this book home and study it. And stay with it if you can. So what we're going to do is, as we come to a blank, I'm going to change this screen so that as I mention it, you'll see it on the screen and you can write it in your book. It works out a lot easier that way. I want to start out with what I call the 13 rules of selling. These are my rules. They're made up not only for this industry, but for any industry, anything that you might be selling, these rules will apply. Let's take a look.